You've heard that self-directed compassion heals, right? But why? Why does something as simple as saying, "I'm so sorry" to yourself have the power to clear deeply rooted patterns that years of therapy couldn't resolve? How does it dissolve trauma, release blocked emotions, dissolve karmic roots, rewire your brain, shift your energy, and actually change your life? Let's explore that. Today, I'm going to talk about the neuroscience, the quantum science, and the energy science of why self-directed compassion, especially using the compassion key, is one of the most powerful tools for healing, clarity, and manifesting the life you're meant to live. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Melissa. I am a compassion key master and circle leader, creator of the quantum compassion and the quantum creation method. And I've helped hundreds of clients shift trauma, dissolve emotional imprints, and activate their highest potential through compassion, visualization, meditation, and energy work. And today I want to guide you into the deeper layers of why compassion is a superpower, not just spiritually, but biologically and scientifically. Because let's be honest, so many of us are trapped in cycles of negativity and depression and anxiety, of self-judgment, fear, shame, and frustration, often without even realizing it, thinking, well, that's just life, and it's just the way it is, it's just the way I am. We live in a culture that teaches us to push harder, to be better, to do more. But that only activates your survival response. Your amygdala fires fight, flight, freeze, and also fawn responses. Cortisol floods your system, and your nervous system is continually trying to rebalance itself from dysregulation. Now, it is true that many people are creating results through force and willpower and sheer determination. That approach can and does work to an extent, but it comes at a cost. When you're constantly pushing and grinding and overriding your inner signals, you may be achieving externally, but internally you're in survival mode. You're creating the conditions for disease, flooding your body with cortisol, adrenaline, and other stress hormones that keep your nervous system on high alert. Over time, this creates a state of chronic dysregulation, and we're seeing the effects of that, right? Rising rates of heart disease, anxiety disorders, autoimmune issues, depression, prescription drug dependence, and burnout. Through all this, you're not creating from your highest vibrational state. You're creating from tension, chaos, and contraction. This is why so many high achievers end up exhausted, disconnected, or chronically unwell, even while achieving external success. I recently learned something about, something called vortex physics. It studies how fluids, gases, and even plasma create spiral or helical motion like whirlpools, tornadoes, galaxies, or even the energy spiraling through DNA or chakras. This motion is dynamic and self-organizing and is often found at the heart of natural systems and energy exchanges. Our bodies are natural systems and also powerful conduits of energy. So now we're talking about the geometry of flow and how energy organizes itself through and into form. When you're in a continual state of imbalance, resulting from prolonged dysregulation and inattention to psychological and emotional health and openness, energetic blocks or knots form around which these whirlpools or vortices of energy form, which keeps the energy stuck in one place. They also pull energy from the surrounding areas, keeping it fixed in a pattern in your body, in your mind, and in your more expanded energy field. So when energy can't flow freely, it begins to loop and spin and collapse inward instead of spiraling outward in a coherent toroidal flow. These inner whirlpools become emotional eddies that play out as stagnant or past-oriented personality patterns and trauma loops, energetic sinkholes that drain your attention and vitality, field distortions that make it hard to perceive and access new options or possibilities. Compassion, true radical compassion, is the gentle force that dissolves the hard spot at the center of these diseased vortices, releasing the energy from that pattern to flow freely again. That's where healing begins. And that's when your energetic being can start to breathe into a new reality. This is what the compassion key process facilitates. By clearing the karmic imprints, subconscious blockages, and survival-based distortions, you open up space for new possibilities to emerge, not from force, but from the easeful spaciousness of Source itself. And in quantum terms, this is when the implicate order begins to shift in your favor. You're no longer entangled in the past signals that created struggle. You are freely flowing out a coherent, empowered signal that the field can organize into form. Reality stops reflecting fragmentation and starts reflecting your wholeness. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not about never using force. Right? It's about shifting from force to flow, from resistance to resonance. True sustainable breakthroughs come from coherence, calm power, and heart-aligned energy, the kind that builds momentum without depletion. And this is where compassion becomes your catalyst. When you apply compassion, not just to others, but to yourself, your past, your patterns, your nervous system begins to settle down. Your heart rate variability shifts. Your biofield, the measurable electromagnetic field that surrounds the body, begins to resonate in a finely tuned way. As research from the HeartMath Institute shows, heart-brain coherence is the foundation for clear intuition, emotional regulation, and enhanced creativity. In this state, you're not just surviving, you're tapping into your most powerful, attuned self. This is the shift to New Earth. And it's not just an idea, but a lived experience of peace, sovereignty, and conscious creation. We are in a time of heightened solar activity. Solar maximum is influencing the Schumann resonances of Earth's electromagnetic field. You may be feeling it, right? Increased intensity, heightened emotions, a sense of time speeding up or bending. These are energetic conditions that are ripe for clearing and healing and activating new potentialities into form. Right now, the energies are supporting your shift. The field is more malleable and more responsive. This is why now is the time to engage compassion, meditation, and the knowing state. You can ride this wave into the highest expression of your being. True transformation, true quantum creation comes when you shift from force to coherence, from pushing to allowing, from survival to sovereignty. Now, here's what happens in your brain and your body when you practice self-directed compassion. Neuroscience tells us that compassion activates your parasympathetic nervous system. It calms your body and slows your heart rate and deepens your breath. You release oxytocin, the bonding hormone. This lowers fear and increases trust. Your amygdala deactivates, emotional reactivity settles. The prefrontal cortex lights up. That's your center for clarity, focus, and higher reasoning. Your heart rate variability improves, which is a key marker of resilience and well-being. And through HeartMath research, we know that this also creates heart-brain coherence, a state where your nervous system, heart, and brain come into a rhythmic, harmonious state. This is a state of optimal performance, creativity, healing, and peace. So when you say, I'm so sorry you're feeling this way, whatever it is, you're literally calming your body's stress response, releasing feel-good chemicals, and shifting into biological coherence. Now, let's go even deeper. Your energy field, your biofield, is not just a concept. Right? It's a measurable field that extends beyond your body, and everything you think, feel, and believe is encoded into that field. When you're in a low vibrational state, when you're feeling fear or shame or guilt, or you're carrying an old hurt, trauma, or challenging belief, your field is disorganized and incoherent and fragmented. Remember Dr. Hawkins' scale of emotional frequencies? Shame and grief and fear all vibrate below 100 hertz, whereas love and joy and peace and enlightenment are at 500 hertz or above. Compassion starts moving you up that scale, shifting you from survival frequencies to creation frequencies. And this is what I've come to adore about the compassion key practice. It bridges the gap gently. It doesn't ask you to leap from fear all the way to love. It meets you where you are and gently moves the needle, frequency by frequency, breath by breath. Now, having said all that, of course, we are all human beings here to have a human experience, which inherently exposes us to the full spectrum of emotional experience. So I'm not suggesting that we attain to living only in higher vibrational emotions. That's not what I'm saying at all. All feeling is part of the phenomenal and spectacular nature of being a human being on this planet. But as we dissolve the blocks in our biofield that create the whirlpools of energy, we don't get stuck in the lower emotions anymore. We're still experiencing them, but we don't live in them anymore. We flow through them instead without getting stuck, because there's nothing for the energy to coalesce around. In Wholeness and the Implicate Order, quantum physicist David Bohm spoke about two different orders of reality. The implicate order, the unseen, connected quantum field of pure potentiality, and the explicate order, what we see with our eyes, form, structure, reality. When you practice self-directed compassion, you're shifting energy within the implicate order in your thought field and your vibrational frequency. So even if nothing appears to be changing outwardly yet, your job is to stay in calm coherence, to anchor the inner shift, and let the explicate order reorganize and reflect your new state when it is free to do that. This is why patience and practice matter. You hold firm in a calm knowing state while you're shifting the blueprint and reality is catching up. In my own life, Compassion Key has helped me completely dissolve many old remnants and root structures of self-deprecation, fear, self-doubt, poverty, disempowerment, heartbreak, even health issues. By offering myself compassion whenever I notice a block in my energetic and emotional field, I've cleared decades and even lifetimes of fog and trauma and stepped into a much clearer and more empowered state. It is a really simple process, but it goes very, very deep. It's layered and energetic, and it's quite profound. It requires complete honesty and vulnerability and willingness and ability to open to and access these deeper layers through sometimes otherworldly denial and resistance. So let's practice this right now. We're going to apply the Compassion Key mantra to whatever is currently arising for you. So let's take an example. If you're noticing doubt about the effectiveness of this process, then let's start there. So take a nice deep full breath. Close your eyes, focus on your heart center and solar plexus, and repeat after me. I'm so sorry you're feeling like this is all a bunch of nonsense. I'm so sorry you think this will never, could never possibly work. I'm so sorry you don't believe for one moment that this practice has the power to shift your inner reality and heal all the trauma and pain you've gone through. I'm so sorry you went through so much trauma and pain. Now, do you see what just happened there? We started with doubt and disbelief in the process, and we found our way to trauma and pain. And if we continue on, we can really dig into and clear that trauma and pain that is at the root of that doubt and disbelief, which will open you to powerfully engaging with this process to clear your entire physical, psychological, emotional, and energetic field of everything that is not serving your highest good. So continue on in this way, reaching deeper with each phrase until you feel a release. Sometimes it will be a subtle release. Other times it will be a dramatic emotional release and realization. So let the layers come gently. Now let's zoom out for a moment to a broader context. We're in a profound energetic shift right now on planet Earth. I'm sure that you've been hearing talk of a transition to New Earth, right? A shift in frequency, consciousness, and embodiment. It's not just a metaphor, right? We're currently in the peak of the sun's energetic cycle where solar flares and geomagnetic storms are amplified, which is directly affecting the Earth's electromagnetic field and ours. This solar activity alters the Earth's natural frequency, the Schumann resonance, and we are feeling it, right? You might be noticing sleep disturbances, emotional intensity, old patterns resurfacing, and a very deep sense that something wants to shift. That's not a coincidence. It's coherence trying to happen. Your biofield, your energy, is being called to clear and align and calibrate into these new frequencies. And guess what helps you navigate this? Compassion, meditation, coherence. This moment is not random. It's designed for your awakening. And the more you clear, the more you rise. The more compassion you offer yourself, the more light you anchor into your body, into your life, and into the world. This is the time. These energies are here for you. Let's use them. In the description box below, you can download my free guide and meditation, where I guide you into entering the calm and knowing state, an energetic shift and reorientation of your perception. You can also explore other ways to work with me if you feel so called. Compassion is power. It's the key to coherence, to healing, to alignment, and to creating the life you know you're here to live. Let's walk together into this new reality. Thank you for joining me today. Until next time.